Have you ever sat quietly on your couch, looked down at your dog curled up at your feet, and wondered what is actually happening inside their mind? It is a question that bonds millions of us across the globe, yet the true answers are often hidden in plain sight, masked by a language we are never explicitly taught to read. Many of us look at our dogs and see a reflection of our own human emotions, assuming a yawn means boredom, a wagging tail always means joy, or a specific resting posture simply means they found a comfortable spot on the rug. But canine psychology operates on a completely different evolutionary frequency, and today, we are pulling back the curtain on the silent boundary crosses your dog makes every day, the subtle shifts in behavioral physics that most owners completely misinterpret. In fact, there is one particular everyday interaction, a subtle shift in body weight that your dog likely does while you are preparing your morning coffee, that looks like pure affection, but is actually a highly calculated test of your structural leadership. We will dissect exactly what that behavior means, and how misreading it can silently dismantle your dog's sense of security, later in this video. If you have ever felt a profound, unspoken connection with your companion, but suspected there was a deeper dialogue happening beneath the surface, you are entirely correct, and understanding these boundaries is the precise key to unlocking their absolute trust. To truly comprehend why your dog establishes these silent boundaries, we have to travel back thousands of years into their ancestral history, long before they transitioned from apex predators into the beloved guardians of our living rooms. In a traditional pack structure, physical space is the ultimate currency. Space equals status, security, and survival. When a dog enters your environment, they do not view your home through the lens of modern architecture. They view it as a map of micro-territories and resources. One of the most common, yet universally misunderstood, silent boundary crosses happens when your dog consistently chooses to block your path, perhaps lying directly in the doorway between the kitchen and the living room, or refusing to move when you walk down a narrow hallway. As human owners, our natural instinct is to gently step over them, smile, and perhaps even apologize to them for disturbing their rest. In the sophisticated realm of canine psychology, however, you have just conceded your physical space to a subordinate, or worse, you have allowed them to position themselves as the literal gatekeeper of the household. When you choose to alter your physical trajectory to accommodate a resting dog who is perfectly capable of moving, you are unconsciously sending a signal to their nervous system that they are responsible for controlling the flow of movement within the ecosystem. Over time, this constant micro-concession elevates their internal cortisol levels, because they suddenly feel the heavy psychological burden of managing the entire environment, a burden that frequently manifests as unexplained separation anxiety or resource guarding. This brings us to a fascinating neurochemical phenomenon that governs almost every physical boundary your dog attempts to cross, which is the pursuit of dopamine and oxytocin versus the avoidance of environmental stress. Consider the act of your dog claiming your specific spot on the couch, the exact moment you stand up to grab a glass of water. It is incredibly endearing, and it is easy to assume they just want to be close to your scent. While your olfactory signature is indeed a massive comfort trigger for them, this behavior is often a deliberate claim on a high-value resource. In a balanced pack, the individual with the highest psychological authority claims the most comfortable, elevated, and centrally located resting area. When your dog immediately slides into your warm seat and actively resists moving when you return, they are testing the invisible boundaries of your relationship. They are experiencing a subtle rush of dopamine by occupying the literal throne of the household. If you allow them to remain there while you take a less comfortable seat on the floor or a different chair, the hierarchy subtly shifts in their mind. This does not mean your dog is actively plotting a hostile takeover of your home. Rather, it means their primal instincts are constantly gathering data to determine who is truly driving the ship. If you are noticing these subtle behaviors, take a brief moment right now to drop your dog's name and their breed down in the comments below, and let me know if they are a notorious couch thief, because tracking these patterns across different breeds offers incredible insight into their evolutionary traits. As we dive deeper into the mechanics of canine communication, we must look at how these boundary tests transition from structural spaces to direct physical contact. This brings us back to that morning routine behavior we touched on earlier. The moment your dog comes over and firmly presses the side of their body against your legs, or completely sits on your feet while you are standing still. To the human heart, this feels like an embrace, a beautiful demonstration of love and a desire for physical proximity. But if we analyze this through the lens of canine behavioral physics, leaning is often a highly passive form of spatial dominance. By placing their physical weight entirely onto your frame, your dog is physically anchoring you. They are determining your stability, asserting their presence, and silently demanding that your attention pivot entirely to them. In the wild, a lower-ranking pack member would never dream of casually imposing their physical weight onto a leader without an explicit invitation. When your dog leans on you without prompt, and you immediately reach down to stroke their head or scratch their ears, you are instantly rewarding a boundary cross. You are validating their intrusion into your personal bubble, teaching them that they can manipulate your physical body and your emotional output at will. The danger here is not that your dog is inherently malicious, but rather that a dog who believes they can control their owner is a dog that feels entirely unsafe. In the canine mind, if the human can be easily moved, easily manipulated, and easily controlled by a simple lean or a blocked doorway, then that human is fundamentally incapable of protecting the pack from external threats. This realization triggers a profound neurological chain reaction inside your dog's brain. The amygdala, the region responsible for processing fear and emotional responses, becomes hyperactive. The adrenal glands begin to flood their bloodstream with cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Suddenly, the dog that looked so calm and assertive while stealing your couch cushions transforms into a hypervigilant, reactive animal on walks. They begin to bark furiously at the mail carrier, lung at other dogs on the street, or pace anxiously whenever they hear a distant noise outside. They are not acting out of malice or aggression. They are operating under the terrifying illusion that they are the sole protector of an incompetent pack, all because we failed to maintain the micro-boundaries of space inside our homes. Another remarkably subtle boundary cross involves eye contact and the manipulation of human guilt. Dogs have evolved a specialized muscle above their eyes, the levator anguli oculi medialis, which allows them to raise their inner eyebrows, making their eyes appear larger, more infant-like, and intensely expressive. This is an evolutionary adaptation developed almost exclusively to trigger a maternal or paternal caregiving response in humans, causing a surge of oxytocin in our brains. When your dog stares at you intensely while you are eating, or while you are working at your desk, they are utilizing this evolutionary tool to break your focus. Intense, unblinking prolonged staring in the animal kingdom is a direct challenge or a demand. When a dog stares at you until you finally break under the pressure and hand them a piece of your food or toss their toy, they have successfully utilized silent psychological pressure to force a concession. They have crossed a mental boundary, proving to themselves that their focus is stronger than yours. To rectify these silent boundary crosses and restore a deep, peaceful sense of security to your dog's life, you do not need to become harsh, loud, or overly dominant. True canine leadership is remarkably quiet, consistent, and emotionally grounded. It requires you to become hyper-aware of your own physical movements and to claim your space with gentle confidence. The next time your dog blocks a doorway or a hallway, do not walk around them and do not apologize. Instead, continue walking directly on your path, looking past them into the distance rather than making eye contact. As you approach, walk slowly but deliberately, letting your feet move into their space. Your dog will intuitively read the calm certainty in your body language and will naturally stand up and step aside. When they do not lavish them with praise, simply continue on your way. This simple interaction communicates volumes. It tells their primal brain that you are entirely capable of navigating the world with absolute certainty, instantly relieving them of the need to act as the gatekeeper. Similarly, we can re-engineer the way we handle physical affection to ensure it builds trust rather than chaos. Affection should always be on your terms, initiated by you when your dog is in a calm, submissive, and relaxed state of mind. If your dog approaches you, leans heavily on your legs, or forces their head under your hand to demand scratches, practice the art of strategic indifference. Ignore the initial demand, look away, and wait for them to give up and sit or lie down on their own. Once they have completely relinquished their demand, stepped back, and settled into a peaceful state, you can then invite them into your space for love and praise. By doing this, you are teaching them that crossing your physical boundaries yields absolutely nothing, but respecting your space and demonstrating patience opens the door to unlimited affection and safety. By implementing these subtle, psychology-based adjustments into your daily routine, you will notice a profound transformation in your dog's overall temperament. Their hypervigilance will begin to melt away, their walks will become significantly more peaceful, and that underlying current of anxiety will replace itself with a deep, settled calm. They will finally realize that they do not have to manage the household, protect the perimeter, or manipulate the space, because you have everything completely under control. This is the ultimate gift you can give to your canine companion, a relationship built not on human assumptions, but on a flawless understanding of their true psychological needs.